This video is brought to you by Squarespace, the all-in-one platform for building and growing your business online. Hey, I'm Nico, and you're here in my new bedroom where I'm gonna be telling you 30 useless facts you didn't know about Super Smash Bros. 64. So, obviously, the best thing about Super Smash Bros. Is being able to fight using your favorite video game character. Well, did you know that the original prototype for Smash Bros. Didn't even feature Nintendo characters? It was referred to as Dragon King: The Fighting Game. Being afraid that the game wouldn't feel special, Masahiro Sakurai thought about adding Nintendo characters instead of just random ones. This prototype was actually referred to as Pepsi Man by the developers because the polygonal characters featured in it were very similar to the Pepsi mascot used in Japan in the 1990s. A second prototype was made featuring Mario, DK, Fox, and Samus as playable characters, but no one at Nintendo knew Sakurai had done that. Yup, he went behind their back and created a fighting game featuring Nintendo characters without sanction from anyone at Nintendo. Now this is epic. When Satoru Iwata initially discussed the idea of a fighting game featuring Nintendo characters to Shigeru Miyamoto, well, he wasn't on board at all. In fact, he turned the whole concept down. The thing is, Iwata didn't tell Sakurai about this meeting and just convinced him to pitch the game to Miyamoto himself, and guess what? This time, it worked! The game was approved! Masahiro Sakurai told Nice Game magazine in an interview that getting the Pokemon characters to appear in Smash Bros. Was actually super complicated. Their image is tightly supervised by the Pokemon company, so it wasn't easy to get them in a game where they actually punch each other. At first, Nintendo wasn't really confident in the project, and Super Smash Bros. Was only planned for a Japanese release. But then, when the game sold 1 million copies, Nintendo decided that it might be worthy to release it worldwide. Yo, I cannot believe we almost missed out on the entire Smash Bros. Franchise here in North America. Dang! But one thing you definitely don't want to miss out is checking out today's sponsor, Squarespace. Building websites is hard and coding takes time. The thing is, Squarespace makes it easy and quick to do. I built this tiny website highlighting a couple fun facts about video games, and all I had to do was to pick a template and to add all of my content from there. It was ridiculously easy. I can even add images, videos, and create a newsletter to tell you guys about what's coming out soon on the channel. You should definitely subscribe to it, by the way. Using the extension Squarespace provides, I can easily connect all of my social media accounts and profiles to my website, and I can even check out my analytics to see how my website is actually performing. To try it out for yourself, go to squarespace.com/Nicobbq and get 10% off your first purchase of a website or a domain. As the game was released several months apart in different regions of the world, every new country that received Super Smash Bros. Received an updated version with balance tweaks being added here and there. Yup, you heard that right. Playing the Japanese version and the North American version will actually feel a bit different for hardcore gamers. Have you noticed that Luigi's overalls in this game are purple instead of blue? This is actually because Luigi is based on Super Mario World in this game. But the weirdest thing is that his artwork is actually wearing blue overalls. So there's just no logic to that. So you know the bedroom that can be seen during the intro of the game? Well, it is actually quite detailed. Especially since we cannot even see everything that the developers put into it. There's a wooden door to enter the room, a pole holding the window curtains, and even a bed. Pretty cool, eh? In the Japanese version of Super Smash Bros., the attack sounds are actually real punching noises. This was changed in the other versions, but man, these sounds are actually so funny! In the Mushroom Kingdom stage, if you pause the game and tilt the camera to look to the sides of it, you'll see a big danger sign. In the game's credits, there's a spelling mistake for Charles Martinet, the voice of Mario. Instead, we can read Charles Martini. Uh-oh. On the Hyrule Castle stage, the Maxim tomato item will actually never appear no matter what. If you decide to set all items to off besides the tomato, all item boxes and capsules will actually be empty. Is this a glitch? or is it meant to be that way? No one knows for sure. On the character select screen, the 8 original characters are placed in order of when they first appear in their respective games. Mario and DK are the oldest, and the most recent one was Pikachu from the Pokemon series. On the Saffron City stage, you fight on top of the Silphco building. Well, for some unknown reason, the Japanese version of the game misspells it, even though it was never referred to as Silph, S-I-L-F, in any Pokemon game. The announcer has different voice clips used for character Fox in English and Japanese, despite Fox not having any name differences in between those two languages. Every character has their little faces appearing next to the damage meter, displaying how many stocks are left. Well, that's not true, not every character. For some reason, Captain Falcon uses the picture of his Falcon ship instead. The first discussions for Super Smash Bros. Were made during the times of the Super Nintendo. The original plan was to use the Super FX chip, which was powerful enough to create polygonal 3D graphics. But the team soon realized that this would not be powerful enough to achieve what they actually wanted to do. Would you believe me if I said Final Smashes were actually planned to be in the original N64 game? Well, you should, because according to an interview with Satoru Iwata, this was the case, but it was cut due to hardware limitations. There are even unused soundbites of Ness saying PK Starstorm! Now I wonder what Final Smashes would have looked like. In the Mushroom Kingdom stage, we can see some green Koopas walking in the background. When they get to an edge, they start moving the other way, which is actually a mistake. Everybody knows green Koopas just walk off a platform. Only the red Koopas turn around when reaching the edges. Come on, Nintendo, you don't even know your games? While being hit by an electric attack, most characters show their skeletons. Samus, on the other hand, acts differently, and instead a version of her without her suit will become visible. Weird. So apparently all of Captain Falcon's moves are leftovers from the Dragon King prototype, as Captain Falcon is the only character that actually looks like those polygonal dudes from that old prototype. There is a TV commercial for this game that features people dressed up in Nintendo characters' costumes, punching each other in the face. Man, this ad is so freaking cool! The portraits used for the character selection screen are based on renders and artworks from their respective games. Mario comes from Mario 64, Link from Ocarina of Time, DK from Donkey Kong Country, Kirby from Kirby's Adventure, Fox from Star Fox 64, and so on. Nintendo did a poll after the release of Super Smash Bros. In Japan to ask people what characters they'd like to see in a future sequel. The results were Bowser, Peach, Wario, King Dedede, Ganondorf, Mewtwo, James Bond, Banjo and Kazooie, Toad, and Mew. Funny to see that most of these characters have been added in future sequels. In the Japanese version of Super Smash Bros., Mario has one heck of a big head. I mean, just take a look at it. This dude's big brain. So, you know these "Congratulations" screen at the end of the classic mode? They're pretty cool, right? Well, sadly, the Japanese version of Super Smash Bros. Doesn't even include them. Sad, isn't it? With so many stages to choose from, you'd think that every single character has their own stage, but alas, Captain Falcon and Ness don't. F in the chat. Super Smash Bros. Was the 5th best-selling Nintendo 64 game of all times, with 5.5 million copies. That's pretty good. Speaking of, this game actually sold more copies than Super Smash Bros. For Wii U. Dang, dude, the Wii U just cannot catch a break. But you can take your break by watching another video though. Tap the cards on screen right now to watch one, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye!